Hello, everyone. We'll get started at the top of the hour. And Nakita, you should have the pop-up to join the broadcast. I just sent that over to you. Nakita, I think you're going to have to log out and log back in if you don't see the pop-up. Gotta love technology. So welcome, everyone. We'll get started at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a couple more minutes to go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are really excited to talk about Take the Leap and what that means, especially for Nakita as she shares some of her story and her journey, and also giving us a sneak peek at what she's going to share with us at the live event in Dallas. So thank you for joining. We're going to try this one more time. All right, Nakita, here we go. How come this works so well in the test run? For those of you who are on, thank you for your patience as we work out the kinks here. All right, here we go. No such luck. All right, Nakita, there's a plan B. Hold tight. I'm going to send you an invite in your email. the joys of technology. All right. So for those of you who are on, again, thank you for your patience. If you would like to let us know who's out there, any questions that you may have for Nakita, you can share those as well. Uh-oh, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Here we are. So the only reason I know how to do this is because this has happened before. So
joys of technology.
I was like, I don't know. So we don't have all night to be here. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. We're really excited to have you here tonight and also as one of our speakers at Take the Lead this year in Dallas. And so I would love to just start by having you share a little bit about yourself and what led you to start Branding Chicks.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. The reason why I started Branding Chicks is probably the same reason why a lot of you are considering going out on your own. Branding Chicks is actually my second endeavor. The first time that I decided to leave my job and go out on my own, it was simply because I was unhappy. Like I was working too many hours for not enough pay. I was realizing someone else's dream and not my own. And the definitive moment for me was I was about to go on a long vacation. I was very excited about it. But when it got closer and closer to time for that vacation, I couldn't even get excited the way I should have been because I was already dreading coming back to work. Wow. And in that moment, I realized that this is not my testimony.
No.
So I actually resigned from my job before I went on vacation. And I ended up taking another job years later. But when I started Branding Chicks, it was a similar situation. I was just not happy. I didn't see the real potential for the kind of growth that I knew that I was capable of, that I wanted for myself. And at that point, it was much more about building an empire than it was being a freelancer and being an independent. Mm-hmm. So my perspective changed from that first time to the second time. But both times it was more out of necessity than anything else. But it was a wonderful decision. It was a hard decision, but I realized that it was what I needed to do at the time I needed it.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do at Branding Chicks.
Okay. Well, Branding Chicks is a boutique branding studio. We're located in Atlanta, but our clients are all over. And we specialize in brands for women and female-focused brands and women-owned businesses. So if you are a woman that owns a business, we help you do everything from help you a little bit with your business strategy to your marketing strategy, your advertising strategy, social media strategy as well. We do branding from the visual identity side of it, as well as your messaging, and kind of help you put together a full package, whether you're just launching or whether you're an established business. I call it a baby business or one that's in puberty.
I love it.
The baby businesses are the brand new ones. And your puberty business is the one that's either you've been around for a few years, but you just kind of jumped out there and you're sort of winging it and you don't really have an established voice or an established brand yet. Or you do have those things, but you're at a crossroads and you know that you can't grow to where you want to with what you have.
Right.
So it really, kind of runs the gamut. We do a variety of things with our clients, but it really depends on where you need us to jump in. So we do an assessment, try to figure out where you are and what your next steps are, and we kind of take it from there.
I love it. I love it. You rock it out. So not only, because, I've known you for many years, so not only are you the chief chick at Branding Chicks, but you also work with design students as well, correct?
Yes. I teach at the Creative Circus here in Atlanta. It's one of the best advertising schools in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the whole creative side of advertising and marketing. We've got art directors, designers, copywriters, programmers, photographers, the whole thing. So I've been teaching there both advertising strategy and graphic design and lots of things around that realm for a while. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I know your students enjoy having you.
Oh, yes.
So they keep her busy. Trust me,
yes,
ladies. Very busy. So one of the things, so I know you started off talking a little bit about the journey and taking the leap and, some of what was behind that. I can definitely relate. Like, yeah, this is not my life. Not my testimony. I'm not quite sure what the testimony is going to be, but this is not it.
It's not it.
And so what were some of the, I'm trying to read my handwriting. I actually wrote down questions before. What were some of the important lessons that you learned, during that transition? Because I know from personal experience, it's not easy to say, I'm going to take this leap. And there are things that happen sometimes unexpectedly. So tell us about that.
Well, I tell people all the time that it's not going to be easy breezy, and it's not easy breezy. If it were, then everyone would do it. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why there's a subset of our culture called entrepreneurs, and there's the majority of people have a 9-to-5 job. So just keep that in mind, for one. But the other thing I would say is that I learned a couple of things. Like I'm a planner. I tend to be very organized. So if I don't have a detailed plan for something, sometimes I feel uncomfortable. But what I realize is that as an entrepreneur, you can only plan to a point. Mm-hmm. And after that, you kind of just got to put your cape on and jump.
Yeah. So you got to take the leap.
You got to take the leap. There are lots of things that happened that I wasn't prepared for or that I just simply didn't know. And if I had taken the time to try to plan every single, bit of it, then there's no way that I would have done this. Yeah. It would have taken too long. I would have talked myself out of it. And I have clients like that. I have clients that are, still trying to, get every single detail perfect before they actually launch their business or before they even tell anyone that they're interested in having a business. And, it's one of those like jump out of the plane and build your parachute on the way down kind of things.
It really is. It really is. We try to plan so many different things in our businesses, and it's just like there's so many things that we do as entrepreneurs even after you take the leap. So it's almost like you never really stop leaping. Like you take this leap and you get there, and you're like, oh, whew, all right, I made it, and then you're like, crap, I gotta leap again.
Exactly.
So you just keep leaping.
It is a test of faith in a lot of ways because of the fact that you have to continually push yourself, to think about, well, this is a really, really big risk. But because it's such a big risk, that also means that it may have a really big return.
Yes.
And you have to make that choice over and over
and over again. Yes. And over.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is so true. I've been recently saying, if you want to test your faith, plan an event.
Oh, yeah.
And if you really, really want to test your faith, plan an event in another state. So, talk about leaping. But like you said, you know, the greater the risk, the greater reward. And I also think the greater the impact. Because one of the things that I ask myself, one of those questions is, all right, Nadia, yeah, you're afraid. You may be nervous. You may be looking at the plan like, that looks kind of shady. But at the end of the day, I always ask myself, who am I impacting by not taking the leap? Who is missing out because I didn't have the courage to at least try? And so that is huge. And so that's the question that I ask myself over and over again when those bouts of fear come up. Because I wish, you know, right? I wish I could say that you reach a point in your business where fear doesn't come up anymore. But yeah, be there. No. And as long as you're continuing to grow and evolve and, you know, do things different, then yeah, fear is always going to be there. So you just have to learn how to act in spite of the fear.
Exactly. It actually becomes, I don't know about you, I'll speak for myself, but I kind of am now at the point where if it doesn't like make my stomach churn a little bit, then I'm like, this probably isn't the next big step. Like it's not big enough. Like if it doesn't make me a little nervous and a little like, what am I doing? They're going to find me out. Like, if it's not that, then it's probably not the next move.
Right, exactly. And I've just learned to really push myself. And, you know, one of the things that I've also learned is, especially for those of us who've gone to higher, you know, been in higher ed, whether you completed it or not, you took some college courses or the like, you know, our formal education really kind of penalizes us for making mistakes.
Yeah.
And one of the things, you know, Toby and I have been having that conversation a lot recently where he's just like, man, you know, you've learned to embrace the mistakes. Now, trust me, I still have my moments of how could you do that? Yeah. But like you said, there are just some things you just didn't know. Like I just did not know what that would look like. And so to be able to embrace making those mistakes, but I think in this, as when you're making that leap, that's one of the things that you really have to watch out for is that fear of making mistakes. Because here, let me go ahead and just dispel the myth for you right away. You're going to make mistakes. Some small ones, some big ones, but you're going to make mistakes.
But those mistakes are the ones that you never make again.
Right.
Because
never.
You learn the lesson the hard way. And I think that, you know, I've learned a lot more from my mistakes than I ever have the things that I did right.
Oh, yeah. And I know it sounds like really cliche, but it's true.
No, it's true.
You're like, oh, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that way again. Yeah. Definitely. So speaking of mistakes, what is one piece of advice you would share with someone who's considering taking the leap?
That's a good one. I would say, you know, from a branding perspective, especially, is to be really clear about what you want to do. And not that you have to have every single detail laid out, because we just talked about that. That can be counterproductive as well. But like, you know, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start my own business. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Is it going to be a product? Is it going to be a service? And they're like, no, I just don't have to stop anymore.
You need to have a few more details.
Right. So, you know, I think that, you know, there is something to be said for jumping when you don't know everything, but that's one of the things that you do need to be pretty clear about. Like, what is it that you're going to do? Is it going to be a product? Is it going to be a service? Who do you think needs this or wants this? Like, who do you think your customer is? And you may not get it completely right, but you need to think about that before you start, you know? So I think that's one thing. And I think the other thing is the flip side of that, which is the over perfectionism. You know, you tend to, you know, perfection is the enemy of progress.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's so good.
So I've had several clients that have been, you know, trying to get it off the ground. And they're like, no, I need this huge office space and I need that and I need this. And it's like, oh, huge office space would be nice, but you don't have any employees yet. You're not, you know, you haven't completely nailed down your business or your marketing strategy. You don't know how you're going to get this thing to market. I think office space is the last thing you need to worry about.
The last thing.
Right. And so it's, you know, it's one of those things where, yes, those are things that need to be considered, but you have to prioritize so that you're doing what is most important to move you forward at that moment. And not like what looks really great. Like, it looks really great to have an office space, but there are a lot of really successful people that don't have an office space.
Absolutely. That is so key. And I see that too. You know, I was just recently talking to someone and they're all about, you know, I have to get my book done and I have to do this and I have to do that. And the book is great. Don't get me wrong. I have one. I'm not knocking anybody's book in the vision. But at the same time, this person was also like, I don't have any clients. Could it be that the priorities here are kind of wonky? So, like you said, definitely learning to prioritize. And it can be overwhelming. You know, there's so many things. There's so many gurus, so many experts, so many people telling you, this is the way to go. This is what to do. And so it can definitely be overwhelming. So you're right. But I just have to remind myself that done is better than perfect, Nadia. Hit send, hit post, check it off, and move on.
And when you're trying to decide what to do, I just read this book called The One Thing. Great book. But you know, out of all the tools they give you, the one that sticks with me every single day, I don't even have to look at the book to remember it, is they tell you to ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do right now that's going to make everything else easier or unnecessary?
Oh, that's good.
One thing? And sometimes I ask myself that every day. Sometimes I ask myself that multiple times a day because I'm looking at this long list of all the things I need to do. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get all of that done today. So I ask myself, what's the one thing? I focus on that. If I get that done and the day is not over, then I ask myself again, okay, what's the next one thing? And I find that, you know, if I get 3 of those really big items off my list of 20, I feel much better than getting 10 of the little things done that really haven't moved me forward.
That's good.
But it's a constant, you know, I need a constant reminder. So that's, you know, that's kind of the best thing to kind of keep it going because you're never going to have only one thing to do.
I know. I was like, what world is that you live in, Nakita? I want to join you there.
You got to pick one. Like, it's not that you have one, you pick one.
Pick one, yes. So let me see.
It's more like I have one page.
I know. Even when I tried to pick my top 5, it was a struggle. Like, oh, wait, what? Accountability 5? I only need 5.
That doesn't work for me.
It was bad. It was bad. I want to make sure I had this question right. What's the one thing that I can do right now that will either make things easier or unnecessary?
Make things easier or unnecessary. Yes.
Got it. Okay, cool. That's good. That is so good.
That's my favorite right
I'm going to write that on a sticky note and put it right here on my computer.
It's on the monitor.
Yes. That's going to be me too because, oh my goodness. It's just like, it's a never, you know, and then I think about, especially when you are still in, Zoe said she did. Way to go, Zoe. She's like, done, check. And one of the things when you're making that transition, right? So you still have a full-time job. And, you know, while people talk about 40 hours, I remember when I was in corporate, it was more like 50, 60, 70. Yeah. For me, I remember the day I came home and I looked at Toby and I said, I will not work a minute over 40 hours. Like that was a defining moment for me because that meant that me and my life is done.
It's done.
And I was never that girl. You know, I was always like, give it 110%. I was looking at my coworkers side eye, like, what are y'all doing? Like, come on, chop, chop, you know. But, you know, that was a really defining moment for me. And I think that, you know, but like you said, that was a moment. And then there was still like, what do I do? How do I get out? When I leave my job, you know, what does that look like? At the time, although I was married, I was the primary breadwinner. So now I also have to talk this over with another person.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about making this decision that could possibly ruin your life. You're down. Love you, honey. So it's, you know, it's a lot to think about. And I think that that's one of the big keys, like you said, is, okay, this is what being clear on what I want to do. But because there are so many things, it's so easy to get overwhelmed with my website, my business cards, this, that, and the other. Office space, seriously. Set up a cube in in a closet and get busy. It's important to really prioritize your time. And that is one thing that I think.
And your resources.
Yes.
Don't forget that too, because you're not going to be starting out with, you know, millions of dollars.
No.
Sometimes you won't even have thousands of dollars.
Say what?
So,
ruin my
you're
dreams.
not only prioritizing your time, but because your resources includes your time. But it also includes money. It includes, your network, the people that you can go to for help. Like, you want to get them for help when you really need them for the most important thing, and not, in a situation where you're calling them every week. And then, when you really need them, then you've exhausted that resource.
Yeah, that's so good.
Being clear about where you're going and the focus, changes everything, not just, your to-do list.
It really does. And especially like you said, even once you leave your job, you still feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. Yeah. But it's really important that when you're still in your job, that the time that you do have, you're spending that time, like you said, your time, your resources, everything on the things that are going to help you move forward faster. Exactly. And one of the things I think about when I started was, I don't know how long I spent sitting in my office just trying to create products. Trying to create stuff, but nobody knew who I was. Who was I going to sell it to? Like, really, Nadia, who are you selling these products to? And it's just like,
at that point, anybody who will buy them.
Right, you're right. Anybody want to buy this? Because I really need you to buy something. And, but I had a slick website. I had cute business cards. I had no clients. It was a mess over here. It was a mess. And so it's just, really thinking about what are those things. And it's so funny. I laugh at people now. Like, I have to have my website up. I have to do this. And I'm like, I get it. Trust me, I get it. And I know people who have successful businesses that don't have fancy websites or business cards, and they make good money. So,
coming from the branding person, like, I feel like you should have all those things, but realistically, I'm very aware that a lot of people don't. Like, my personal website needs to be updated. But at this point, I'm a cobbler that has no shoes. Right. I'm fixing everybody else's shoes. My shoes need to be fixed, but it's fine. Like, it'll be there until it's fixed.
At least you have shoes to fix. So yes, clients, yay.
Exactly.
But and now that it's not important, and I think that's where sometimes people get off. It's not that you can never have a cute website. I love,
No.
But it's also like, especially like you said, when resources are limited, would it be better to spend these resources on building up my clientele so then I could take that money, that revenue, and reinvest in my business to get my website, and then I could pay someone to do a great job the first time, and not have, because you have to think about that too. Like, sometimes we make decisions that we're rushing, trying to get something done. It's done backwards, and then you end up spending more time and more money to fix it. And so again,
I turn people away. I'm like, listen, you're not ready for me yet.
Oh,
I would love to help you, but you don't have enough information yet. And I'm not going to just take your money. I'm going to send you away with a lot of questions to answer. And once you can answer those, then come back and we'll be ready. But, and I've also been on the back end of that where, people have hired someone because it was cheap. It was like, I need a website or whatever. And they get it done and they don't like it. They can't get to it. The person won't give them the files or anything. And so it just becomes this like clunker. It's like this thing that they can't touch, they can't update, they can't fix, and they hate it.
Right. So that's the all-time worst.
Anyway, but they spent money on it.
Yep.
And I hate to see that happen. I really do. So, because it just, it's also very discouraging because, when you're first starting out, like there's certain things that you're dead set on. And if those things don't go the way you want them to, it's really easy to want to give up.
Yes.
So that's what I'm aware of, is that, if those things don't go well, then this person is now discouraged and they don't want to do this. So be very clear about what it is you absolutely need. And then build out, what I do with my clients is I build out a phased approach. So yes, you might need 8 things that will really truly brand you as a new business. But we can do 1 of them now. And then we can do 3 of them in the next phase. And then we can do 3 more in the next phase. That might take us 9 months, but that gives you 9 months to find clients, to make more money, to reinvest, like you said. So it's not, it doesn't have to be done all at once. Sometimes people just need a plan. Yes. Like, now I have a plan. In 9 months, I'm going to have all of these things, but I don't have to pay for them all at once or get them all in at once.
Right.
So
And it also helps you not feel the overwhelm. And I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about with Take the Leap is helping you to understand how to make that transition, but how to put together that plan. And because we have overwhelm, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get a building. I got to get an office. And for some people, they do. Like I have clients, they want to start restaurants. Like that's a whole nother beast. But if you don't have to take that on right now, don't. You know, where do I get the website? Do I need business cards? You know, like there are all these things that we feel like we have to have. And it's like, yes, but hold on one moment, you know, like just put it in an order that makes sense for you, because someone else may have the resources to take that leap and do a lot of this stuff all at once.
Right.
I remember I was in a mastermind group and one of my masterminders, fellow group members, she was just like, oh, I just spent 10 grand. Like she just had the resources to just drop 10 grand on somebody to build out some website and do some automation and stuff. I was like, girl, please, you know what I've done with that 10 grand? At that point in my business, there were like 15 other things I would have been investing in before that. But I learned the hard way. You know, I already had people do stuff. My website, I'm honestly, Jesus, it's been one of the biggest contentions. I don't want to look at it right now. Like, it needs to be updated. And so much has changed. But I've learned to just be okay with that. Like, you know, the website, I just tell you probably won't find that on the website. So much has changed. But you know, because I stay in conversation, there's so many other ways that I engage with my, you know, with my community. But Lord, that website thing is huge.
But you know, that's another good point is, you know, you said what are some of the mistakes that people make, and I think that all of that also goes into knowing that everyone has their own path. Like nobody has done this exactly the same way as someone else has. And that's kind of the nature of the beast. Like, you know, I read lots of books about entrepreneurs. I talk to lots of entrepreneurs, and I get, you know, really great nuggets from each and every one of them. But, you know, when I put those things together, the ones that I feel like are appropriate to me, my path is going to be different from theirs. It's going to be different from yours. And knowing that and being okay with that is a big part of the mindset shift that needs to happen. Because otherwise you're looking at people and you're like, well, they're where I want to be. And it only took them 2 years.
Right.
It's like, well, but, you know, based on the steps that they took, can you take the exact same steps? And if you do, it still may take you 1 year instead of 2 years, or it may take you 3. You know, everybody's path is different. And I think knowing that and being very clear about the fact that that doesn't mean that you're going to fail is really important.
That is so true. And I think it's also something we have to watch out for when we do look at different experts and different people who may be involved, because it's easy to feel like if I don't make this or hit this milestone in the same amount of time, but you have to understand that there's so many different factors that impact that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And your goals might be different. That might have been their goal. And, you know, based on what you know and what you want, that might not be your goal.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that I encourage clients to do is to have your own definition of success.
Absolutely.
You know, because for me, it may be make $15 million. For you, it may be to be able to vacation 6 months a year. Like there's so many different things that really make a difference to people. Like you said, priorities. Also looking at, you know, different seasons in life, like married, unmarried, children, small children, no children, grown-up children. Like there's so many different things that happen. And I think sometimes people just like, oh, they did it this way. And it's like, you didn't compare circumstances. Like it's just not apples to apples at all.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Like you said, everybody's priorities are different and their definition of success is different. Like for me, if I can work from anywhere, like you said, and be traveling the world for 3 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Like, I don't care what my bank account looks like. If I can do that, success.
Huge success.
Yes.
What do you wish you'd known before taking the leap?
This is going to sound a little crazy. You ready?
I'm ready.
I wish I had known that there are a lot of people that are frauds out there.
Oh, girl, say it.
And not like in the sense that they're trying to dupe you out of anything, but in the sense that they present themselves to be a certain way as an entrepreneur. And when you get to know them and you get to know their business or you try to work with them, you find out that a lot of it is a front. And the only reason I wish I had known that, because that doesn't directly impact me per se, but it does, I do feel like it's a misrepresentation. And it has, like you said, when people compare themselves to what they see and they don't know what's behind it, then they're not comparing to the right thing.
They're not.
They don't know that that's all a facade. And there are some people who are very authentic and very genuine about this process. And I think that those are the people that I've connected most to. Those are the people that I've made my friends, that I've made my clients, that I look up to. Because if you're just, you spend all your time trying to, spin some smoke and mirrors, then you're not actually doing the work that you say that you're doing. You don't have time to, because you're too busy working on the smoke and mirrors. Yep. So I'd much rather the person that tells me, listen, I still work in my basement. Okay?
Right.
And the first 3 years were really, really rough, but I'm doing really well now. You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear that story. That encourages me. It endears me to them. And again, from a branding standpoint, that's part of your story. Like, why would you try to make up a story that's not yours? Because there's always going to be someone who that story resonates with. So there's no reason to try to make it something else. Let it be what it is. And that's, that means that when you do get to where you really want to be, that story is that much more powerful.
Yeah.
So, so yeah,
that's so true. Oh my goodness. And I think sometimes too, there's that fear, right, of sharing that information or what are people going to think. And I think once we get over that and we realize just how powerful sharing that part of us is, to other people. And I tell people, one of my early coaches that I hired, one of the reasons why I hired her was because she shared this story from a stage. I thought that was bold and gutsy in and of itself. Where she talked about one of her first events that she'd ever done. She had this huge event. She had, I think she's had over 200 people at this event, big name speaker there, all this stuff happening. And she drove home in tears because she owed $40,000.
Oh, wow.
Because she pulled together this amazing event, but she left her out of it. And she didn't think about how she would profit from it. And it was just, this great transformational event. And it was a mess on, from a financial perspective.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I just felt like that would have been the end. Like, shut it all down. I am done. I'm going to get a job once I crawl from under the rock. And there she was on stage, and she talked about, what it was like to try to hire a coach and get the support in her business so she could grow her. It was just like, oh my gosh, you did what? Yeah. And so, but her sharing that, I was like, surely what I have going on in my business isn't that bad, and she could help me. But most importantly, she would understand me when I reach those points in my business or whatever the case. I tried something and it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, and I wanted to throw in the towel. I will always look back on that and be like, if she can do it, I can do it, because she's standing before me living proof that she was able to overcome. Yeah.
And that's huge. People, I think you don't always even know how much you inspire other people just by doing what you're doing and being who you are.
That is so true.
But yeah, I think that's huge. Like, that would endear me to her too. Like, okay, so you are clearly my people.
Clearly.
Because you get it. And we all have our tribe. I think that, one of the other things, and Nadia and I talk about this all the time, is that one of the things to consider about, being an entrepreneur is that even if you're doing this on your own and you're going to be a solopreneur, you can't do it by yourself. You can't. And when you try, it makes it so much harder on you. Like, surround yourself with people who are there to encourage you, some who are going through the exact same thing that you are or have been there before, and surround yourself with a whole lot of people that know stuff that you don't.
Yes, please.
A whole lot of those people. I have all kinds of people on speed dial. Because, it would take me so much longer to learn that. And they've already learned those lessons. And similarly, they can call me, you know, with a branding question or something like that, or about their marketing. I've already made those mistakes. So I can tell them, you know, what not to do or what might be the best move for them. And, you know, it takes a village.
It really does. Oh my gosh.
Baby business. It takes a village to raise a child.
It really does. That's real talk. So give us just a sneak peek. Don't let all of it out, but just a sneak peek at what we can expect from you at Take the Leap.
I want to talk a lot about what a brand actually is, and kind of breaking that down for you a little bit. Mainly because I have so many entrepreneurs who come to me and they're like, I called you because they said I need a brand. And then they just sit there and stare at me like, I don't know what that means. Right. And I do think that there is a certain amount of, you know, again, smoke and mirrors around that I want to dispel all of that for people who are thinking about making that move, because they feel like it's going to be this like daunting, overwhelming thing, or that they need to have a ton of money to be able to execute it perfectly. And that's just not true. And so I want to talk about what goes into a brand and how you create a brand with little resources, and the different elements that you need to attract. Because some people think, well, I just need a logo, right?
Right.
Like, well, that's part of it, but there's so many other things. So that's part of it. And then the other thing is just simply how branding is all about relationships. It's about how you relate to your audience and how you continue to engage them at every step of the way. So whether they are a client, if you're in a service-based business, or whether it's a customer, if they're going to buy a product from you, like how do you draw them in and how do you keep them there?
Yeah.
How do you continue to find ways to engage them so that they feel like you are part of them and that you are always going to be their first choice when they think about buying something in your category? So that's kind of the gist of it. There's lots more, but that's the sneak peek.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nakita, for joining us. We are so excited about Take the Leap. And if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, head on over to taketheleapevent.com. That's taketheleapevent.com. Head on over right now. We'll be in Dallas, Texas, October 14th to 15th, and you do not want to miss it. Any final comments, Nakita, as we wrap up?
Not really. Just, keep looking forward. That's the best thing that I can say. Keep looking forward and know that there's so many people who've done this before you, and there's so many resources out there. If you go about it in the right way, every single thing you want, you can have.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for joining. Jen, thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for agreeing to meet us in Dallas as we prepare for Take the Leap. And like I said, if you haven't gotten your ticket, you definitely want to do that. TakeTheLeapEvent.com. We'll see you there. Have a great night, everyone.